What's going on, people? So as I said in the last video, and for anyone who's curious about what day it is, it's Thursday, which is Throwback Thursday in some countries, right? And so in a way, it kind of makes sense that I'm doing this particular review because, as you know, this thing is based on some pretty old stuff, right? It's actually based on the first shoe that really got me into buying things, the Air Max 360. I've told that story before, so I'm not going to tell it again. If you want to hear it or whatever, I think I have a video about it. If I do, there will be a link. If you don't see a link, then, well, there you go. There's no video. But anyway, so this particular shoe, right? This came from StockX. It's my third StockX purchase because I got the Citrons through them. I got the last that I needed from the Air Max Curry Pack through them. I just don't buy a lot of stuff from there, you know? Nothing against them. I just have no reason to. But I had my eye on these because I really like this particular shoe, right? I know it's not a fan favorite of most people, but it's a Tristan favorite, and that's really what matters, right? So I saw these, somebody eventually accepted the bid that I put in, and now here they are. Though I will say, the first time around, because I tried this thing a couple months ago, and for whatever reason, the first person that I bought from or whatever, their shoe didn't pass StockX things, however that works. They don't tell you. They like to keep it as a mystery. But tried it again, and here we are. So I guess maybe that means these are better than the last ones. Maybe the last ones were fine and someone just thought they weren't. Don't know, don't really care. But anyways, I got these here. And actually, this is the second pair of these that I got because the first ones, as you may have seen, I got last year, which was the original color. This color right there, which was drawn by Juke Nudie from the Sneaker Hearts crew. And so when I saw those, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm definitely getting these because, again, the whole origin story. And I remember somebody commenting on that, like, oh, man, you should stop buying these stupid shoes. Like, no real sneakerhead's going to want to watch this. That video got, like, so many views. I think that dude went back later and deleted his comment, because nobody wants to look stupid. But you should probably consider that before you go typing stuff on the internet where everybody can see it anyway. But past that, let's go ahead and talk about these because I've rambled for a good while. So this right here, right, as I may have said, probably didn't, this is the Nike Air Vapormax 360 in some kind of black and gray colorway. Now, I did have this particular one originally years ago, and so that's part of the reason I wanted this one, right? But enough of all the backstories. Let's just talk about what's here and now, shall we? We're going to start this with the bottom. So down there, outsole-wise, right, standard Vapormax outsole, right? You got the big old bubble thing, you got some of that extra durable areas to where, it gives you a little bit of traction, kind of gives you some durability so if you step on something, it's a little less likely to pop. But again, as I often say, and I assume Nike's still doing this, if you have an Air Max and the bubble pops and it's within 2 years of the manufacture date, they'll give you a voucher to buy some new ones. That's how they were doing things a couple years ago. I assume they're still doing that. So try it out if you have any shoes that have gone out on you. Anyways, moving on up here to the midsole, right? From the side angle, it does kind of look like a mouth guard, which is the thing that kind of turns some people off. And I get it, but for me, I can't see that when I'm wearing them, so I don't worry about that. But that's basically your standard outsole there, right? And then moving on up to the midsole, on up to the upper of the shoe. So this is a very weird material. I'm not quite sure how to describe it. It feels plasticky and kind of stiff, and at least as far as the main parts of the upper, right, the silver and stuff part. So it's a little weird. It really is. And then down there, outlining that whole thing, you do have some nice glittery style, almost like the patent leather of the 7210s in a sense, you know what I mean? So just in the way that it has that little shimmer to it, right, with the glitter. So you have that going on. But then on the toe box here, and this is going to be a little important later, you got this little strip that comes up here. So that piece there, I don't remember if that's reflective or not, but I'll get that figured out at some point. And that point just isn't right now. But anyways, moving on back here to the middle area. So you do have these nice shiny swooshes on both sides of those. And right there above that, it does say 2020. The original one said 2006, I want to say. Possibly 2005, but I'm leaning towards 6. And so moving on back just a little bit further, we got more of these little stripes and whatnot going on here. In a way, it's almost like the Air Max Plus 2 because that thing had a whole lot of stripes or lines everywhere. It's ridiculous. And then finishing things off with the very back, there's a picture in there for you so you can kind of look at that, take it all in for yourself. It is nice though. You know, it's got a nice little reflective thing in there. You can kind of see yourself or whatever. But moving on to the back to the front area here where the laces are. These, I do remember them having this style of laces like years ago. So it's kind of like a ropey style, but it's also like got this little piece on the side where it's not completely round or whatever. I don't know what the term is for that, but you know, you'll get it once you see it. And then at the very top where the tongue is, you do have the Vapormax 360 logo, slightly different than what it said originally because Vapormaxes weren't a thing originally, right? And so there we go. I believe that's pretty much the whole outside of this shoe. So let's go ahead and jump on inside and get this thing finished up. Not a lot, people. You see that picture? That's pretty much it. All right, cool. So that didn't take as long as I thought it would. But now let's go ahead and jump on into the sizing and comfort and all that stuff, because I got a few things to say about these things right here. Sizing wise, right? This shoe, I buy these in a true to size, right? 9.5, that's my thing. That's what I bought in these. I'm good with that. But the thing is, this is kind of a small, snuggish fit, right? I'd almost compare it to maybe like a Huarache or something. So if you buy these at your true to size, it might feel a little bad for some people. So in a lot of cases, I might suggest going up half a size. And the other thing about that, as I was kind of alluding to earlier, that piece on the tip of the toe there and all that stuff that's around there, there's not a lot of stretchability in here, right? So these things aren't going to expand over time like Primeknit. This is what it is, period. So do with that information what makes sense to you. I just want to put it all out there so you have something to think about if you're still in the market and potentially buying some of these, right? You might want to go up a little bit because they are snug and they're not going to be very forgiving. And past that though, once you've got your sizing figured out and you're just wondering how these feel, they feel pretty good. Do they feel amazing? Not really, because the way this material is, it's just not the most ideal material in my personal opinion. But the Vapormax itself, that kind of brings it up a little bit, right? Because that stuff is pretty solid. You got to give it a little bit of time though. You got to walk around in them and then eventually they'll kind of get where they need to be. But it's just overall, as much as I like this shoe, I'm not going to like sing its praises about comfort because I'd be lying to you. But I believe that pretty much just sums up everything, right? It's good, but it's not great. So now we're just going to move on and get this thing wrapped up and stuff. So as I was saying, I am glad to have these in the collection finally. This is one of the few shoes that I was wanting for a while. And given that the whole Air Max Day thing is tomorrow, and that's probably when this video will be going out, it kind of all comes together in some sort of way, right? Long backstory. It's one of those, like some long-term storytelling, if you will. You know, if you're in the wrestling world, that's what they call that. But anyways, I think we're good. I truly do. So, because there was something I was going to say about the midsole. I forget how it's different, but since I can't remember, I'm not going to get into it. Just know that standard Vapormax things is a little different. It was bugging me just a little bit, so I wanted to check in on this. See that where it comes to the midsole? This, you're pretty much right there on the bubbles. This has a bit of a separation down in there. See, slight difference. But anyways, from me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I'm good now, right? Well, I got 2 more reviews, but those will come eventually. I'm not in a hurry for those. So, later people.